Hi everyone, it's Michelle and Megan from Wellness Toolbox Club, and today we wanted to talk to you about detoxing our toxic relationships.
Yes.
So we have a few oils here that we want to talk about to help encourage you on that journey of detoxing those relationships that are causing you stress, that are not empowering, that are not making you feel well, that are dragging you down.
Right. I think the number one thing to notice when it comes to kind of like realizing what relationships in my life that are just kind of draining you is how do you feel after you after you talk to the person? Mm-hmm. Or how do you feel after you hang out with them? Do you feel tired? Does your energy feel depleted? Like, do you feel like crappy, like
overwhelmingly exhausted after a phone conversation?
Right. Do you feel like, you didn't get to have the time to even talk about what you want to do because the person was just blabbing around? Blabbering, is that even a word?
Yeah, blabbering is a word.
Okay. They're just like blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, okay, like, can I also speak as well? Like, those
one-sided
relationships. Like, these are some of the things that you can kind of like look over in your life as far as like, okay, what relationships are draining me? And this can be family. This can be like coworkers. It could be your colleagues. It could be anyone.
It could be friends.
It can be friends.
You've kind of either outgrown maybe that friendship, or the friendship has taken a different turn, and it's time to let that friendship go maybe, or change the direction of it. Yeah. And one of the ways that you can start to even think about, how am I going to detox these people and these relationships from my energy, is the first one that I like to start with, and I know Megan does too, is valor. Yeah. So valor is all about empowerment and giving you courage. Mm-hmm. So just inhaling some valor, putting some valor like on your wrists and maybe like on like behind your ears and maybe at the base of your neck.
Yes.
And that all and just inhale all of that. That will make you feel more empowered. Yes. And then you'll be able to go through and analyze some of those relationships a little bit better.
Or also have a conversation with them, like basically letting them know, hey, I really want to talk to you because I've noticed X, Y, and Z type of thing. And so I know that's happened to me in the past, like where I wanted to not necessarily confront the person. I don't know if confront would be the right word, but I just wanted to let them know, hey, this is what's going on. I've noticed this about our relationship. Let's say I've noticed that it's a little one-sided. So it gives me that courage to actually be assertive and stand my ground and let the person know where I'm coming from. Because maybe the person has no idea that they're draining your energy. Maybe they feel like everything is okay and they don't know that you have some type of like, not resentment, but that you have stuff that you want to...
Or that you're feeling that way at all. Like, they may not know. And so, like, the next oil that we use for that would be release. Yeah. So you want to release those feelings and emotions that you have pent up about that detox, that relationship, that toxic relationship, so that you can begin to detox. Yeah. And so release helps you do that. It helps you release those emotions, release those feelings, release that tension.
That resentment or anger. Yeah.
Yeah, any kind of anger or resentment that you're holding, that you're storing in different tissues in your body. Yeah. So release is one of those things. And again, you might want to put it like a drop or two of release in your hand, rub your hands together, and just cup your hands in your nose and really just take some nice deep inhales to release what's going on. So I like to tell people when they're releasing, sometimes it might be like a physical release, like laughing, crying, anger. And sometimes maybe it's an emotional release. Sometimes you need to get it out on paper. Yeah. Sometimes you're not ready, right, to actually confront the person or talk to the person.
So just writing that letter, not even sending it
and
to
not
them,
even sending it.
Yeah, but it's like you get that energy out of you, which leads to forgiveness. Yeah. We need forgiveness. Like, imagine if you're storing all of this negativity and resentment and feelings of betrayal, whatever it is, like Michelle said, you're storing that in your body, like in your muscles, even in your organs, right?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
so
definitely.
if you're holding on to that, that's affecting your health. Think about it. Like that's affecting your health. So with forgiveness, it's not that you're telling the person that, you know, what they did, like, what's that saying about forgiveness? Like, it's not that you, like, agree with what they did, but that you want that peace, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
like you can acknowledge it, but you don't have to say that what they did was right or wrong. Like there doesn't have to be a right or wrong. It's an acknowledgement, and it's forgiveness of the situation, both on their part, on your part. It's just letting go of it. It's an overall forgiveness of the situation, so that you don't really have to be blaming anybody. It's just, okay, this is what it is, and I'm just going to let it go.
And now I feel peaceful because I'm not holding on to that negativity anymore.
Yeah, and then that leads us to the present time.
Yeah, the moment, like what's happening
like living
now.
in this moment.
Right.
And there is a oil called present time, and this brings us right back into this
now.
Very moment.
Not the past, not the future, now.
Living for the day. Exactly today, not like you said, not like what happened last week, last month, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. And
like
not like, oh, what's going to happen next week? And I wonder if they're going to do this.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I have to go to that event, and I'm going to see them. And let go of all of that. Just be in the present moment.
Yes. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Because if you're constantly in the past and you're just thinking of, and what that does is it brings up guilt, it brings up anger. You kind of lose touch of your reality in this moment. Like, what's going on in this moment that feels good? Like right now, I'm here with Michelle. I see butterflies flying around, and I feel so happy. And if I'm constantly in my mind just thinking like about whoever hurt me or whatever, I wouldn't be able to notice those little things. Mm-hmm. So being in the present is so crucial, and you know, it's something that will bring just so much peace into your life.
I like to use like present time when I'm taking like a few minutes to meditate or to just like let go of the day and like bring myself back into the present moment of like being back in my home, being back in my sanctuary, being with the people that I love, and just taking that time to like reconnect.
Yes.
So present time can do that.
Yes.
And then I'll let you talk about your
favorite
one.
My favorite is joy. Joy is like, I mean, joy is just being happy. It's knowing that, okay, maybe I had to let go of a few friends or a few relationships or I had to distance myself from a few people for a while or maybe for a lifetime. You know, when it comes back to like just joy, it's just like, okay, like, even though maybe the relationship didn't work out, I can wish them well, and now I can just be happy. And oh my gosh, like once you detox from negative relationships and you have a circle of friends and family and support systems that are so positive, it makes such a huge difference in your life. I have to say that. It makes such a huge difference. So joy, like who wouldn't want joy in their life? So that's to me how
I have to tell my story about joy because as much as Megan like absolutely loves it,
I love joy.
I hated it.
Oh,
I totally hated it. When I first opened it, I'm like, I don't like this. It doesn't bring joy. It doesn't smell good. I'm like, hilarious. Just don't like anything about this. So I kind of was like,
this is not bringing me joy.
Yeah, like this is not bringing me joy. Like, what's the problem here? So I found that they say that if you don't really like an oil, a lot of times it's the oil that you specifically need
the most.
Right, you need the most. And when I think back to when I first smelled joy, I was going through some really difficult times in my life, was not feeling anything near joy. I was really angry. I had a lot of discomfort. I was just like pretty miserable. So now when I smell joy, it's still not my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I love joy.
It's not my favorite, but I like it more. I definitely am like, I need more of it.
Yeah.
So I'm working with it more and more each day. But, there's going to be each one of these oils that's either going to resonate with you where you're like, love this.
Sniff, sniff.
Yeah, like, oh, I can't get off of this. And then there's going to be those ones where you're like, what are they talking about? Like, I hate the smell of this one. Yeah.
What is this? This doesn't bring this.
Right. So just know that if you don't like it, sometimes that's really the one that you need to work with.
And like Michelle and I were talking about this earlier, like when you're working with essential oils, it will bring up stuff, but it's just stuff they need to clear.
That's just such a good point. I'm just gonna share another really quick story. Somebody had suggested trying, like going to sleep and diffusing cedarwood and release.
Oh yeah, release.
And release. And I use cedarwood at night all the time. It's one of my favorites, and so I'll do another whole scope on cedarwood. But anyway, I did the cedarwood and release, and that night I had
nightmares
like you would not believe. Probably every fear, uncomfortable feeling, every frightening thing I probably put into this little Pandora's box in my head. And when I inhaled the release and used the release on my body and I went to sleep and I had all those nightmares, it brought up all of these things. Like I was just seeing like all of these times in my life where I was just really, really scared and uncomfortable and fearful and all of this kind of stuff. But the next morning, I had, it was amazing how, coincidence, if there is such a coincidence, right? Things came back into my life that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
And normally they would have brought back that feeling of, the knot in my stomach and getting all tense and, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to deal with this.
Yeah.
But after having done that release that night before, it was like I had this whole new level of empowerment. Yes, I was like,
cleared
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am just going to take care of this. I'm like, I felt empowered. I felt confident. I felt like that nobody was going to make me small or make me feel uncomfortable or anything like that.
Like you got your power back.
Right. I got my power back.
Yeah.
I took my power back and I took care of the situation and I was like, done. Don't need to think about it anymore.
Hashtag done.
Yeah, out of here. So it's amazing what starting to use some of these can bring up for you.
Yeah.
And then, if you start to be aware of what's happening in your life and how things are starting to change.
And shift very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah. So I hope that you guys try some of these. And I hope that you tell us what your experience was. We really look forward to hearing how you've started to detox some things in your life.
Yeah. So let us know.
Yep. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.